We are still waiting to get more information on Simone Biles, if she'll be able to compete in the individual events. She pulled herself out of the team competition. And she made the right decision because it was her decision. She didn't feel comfortable. She talked about something internally. I'm sure the stress that's on her, the pressure that's on her, she didn't want to bring the team down. They ended up winning a silver, but Simone Biles right now, not quite sure. She said that she hopes that this will get worked out over the next couple of days. If this was an individual sport, like Naomi Osaka took herself out of competition. Now, she did lose at the Olympics, but, years ago, taking herself out of competition, didn't compete in some of the majors, a couple of Grand Slam events. She wasn't there mentally. And Simone Biles said that. And look, I'm glad that there are athletes who are willing to talk about the mental aspect of this, because you were considered damaged goods, like something was wrong with you. In the old days, you'd play through it. Come on, what's wrong with you? You're making millions of dollars. You got to be out there. You got to play through this. You're not in a good headspace. And Kevin Love brought this up. Who was the basketball player out of the Big 12? Was it Royce White? Was he out of Iowa State? Does that sound right? And I remember he was dealing with things, didn't play in the NBA. I think he played in Europe eventually, but I remember he talked about this as well. Travel issues, being on a plane. Michael Phelps talked about this. Just the stress part of this, the mental part of this. We don't know that. We see somebody and go, man, they should be great. They're going to win the gold. You don't know. You don't know where they are mentally. Physically, you can say, man, you look like you're ready to go. Mentally, I don't know what kind of pressure Simone Biles is under. I could only imagine that you're supposed to win all these gold medals. Not if, but when you win them. Part of the beauty of the Olympics is the surprise element, that you find out about somebody. The 17-year-old swimmer from Alaska won the gold medal. That's the surprise. No expectations. Now, the next Olympics, a whole lot of pressure. And who knows what this extra year. I mean, imagine this is a 17-year-old swimmer out of Alaska. If the Olympics were held last year, she wouldn't have won the gold medal. Michael Phelps said that. Because it was pushed back another year, you get another year to get ready, to mature. And you go into this, she doesn't know what to expect. Sometimes you love being naive. There's certain teams that are young and they have no idea. And here's Simone Biles, who's 24, and her last Olympics probably. And you're going in and you're expected to win. Katie Ledecky, you're expected to win. Michael Phelps, expected to win. Team USA basketball, expected to win. I mean, when you think about the Olympic coverage, and I don't think this is a stretch, NBC and Peacock are leaning heavily on Simone Biles and Katie Ledecky. There's no Usain Bolt. There's no Michael Phelps. This is pressure. Now, if they feel it, now what do you do? And sometimes you don't know you're going to feel it until you get there. I remember having this enormous pressure on me in Minneapolis when I was hosting the Super Bowl. And this is something that I had done with Bob Costas, and Bob decided that he was not going to be part of the Super Bowl coverage anymore. And I went into that morning, and that night I was so stressed out just because I kept thinking the enormity of hosting an 8-hour pregame show, halftime, postgame, handing out the Super Bowl trophy. And I just was trying to stay out of my own way because you start to think, it'd be like 2 p.m. and I'm hosting the pregame show and I'm thinking about postgame. I'm thinking about the trophy ceremony. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. I was trying to just separate there. And that's something, that I do all the time where I'm able to host. I mean, I do this and I've done this for 40 years. But you add the pressure to yourself. And I remember at the Olympics, and I went through this in 2012 in London, and I thought I had to know everything about everybody, every country, every athlete. And Al Michaels said, 30-minute increments. That's all you need to know. Know what you need to know when you need to know it. And it was really simplistic, but in my mind, I thought, gosh, Bob probably knows, the decathlete from Uzbekistan. Like I just thought I have to know all of this, and I couldn't grasp all of it. And I remember going out to dinner, and Al could tell I was stressing, and he said, "Dan, my man, know what you need to know when you need to know it. 30 minutes at a time. That's it." And all I did was, in the moment where it's what is happening now, and I've got 30 minutes of prep work. What am I going to prep for these 30 minutes? It's judo, all right? Who is the who could win gold for, or who could medal for the United States? And then I move on. But if I didn't have that, it would have been an exhausting experience. Would have hated it. And I had the best time. One of the best things I've ever been able to be a part of was the 2012 Olympics in London. And all of those Super Bowl. I mean, I eventually, it worked out with the Super Bowl in Minnesota. But I didn't enjoy it in the moment because I was so caught up on trying to be Bob Costas. Like, how would Bob host the Super Bowl coverage? Because I was very fortunate. I mean, I always had Bob there. And you lean on somebody like that, or you have Al Michaels there. And then all of a sudden, you're like a hot air balloon that's kind of not tethered anymore. You're like, oh, boy. And it hits you. Like, you're hosting the Super Bowl. You're hosting the Olympics. You're handing out the Super Bowl trophy. And I'm proud of all those things. But, man, it weighed on me. Weighed on me heavily.